All right, welcome to another episode of Comic Book Squares. We're going to be doing another interview today. My name's Shane.
I'm Paul.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Mike. Let's get this show started.
All right, so why don't you do me a favor and just kind of introduce yourself and give us the elevator pitch for your book?
Absolutely. My name is Anthony Stokes. I've been writing for over a decade, and I'm the writer and creator of Decay, a comic book series, a 5-issue miniseries that I'm working on right now. The elevator pitch would be, if you want something really misanthropic that's going to make you feel like shit, this is the comic book for you.
Sold.
I'm glad. Usually gets the job done.
That's right. Yeah, take my money. Take my money.
Oh my gosh. Hey,
That's
first
cool.
before we get into the rest of the questions, we were all four of us were just talking about it. Man, what a great job out the gate with your first. I know you said you've been writing for like 10 years, but with this book, holy crap, man, we all really thoroughly enjoyed the story so far. It's solid, just a solid first couple of issues. So when you said it was a 5-issue miniseries, actually the first time I had was like, oh shit, I want to see where else you can go with this. Because it's really good, man. So I just wanted to give you kudos, let you know we were already praising it off camera here.
Absolutely.
So you said you've been writing for like 10 years. How did you get started into comics then?
I've been screenwriting since freshman year of high school. So yeah, probably like 15 years. And I really my first love is movies. So I always try to approach the comic book industry. I don't want to say as a visitor. I haven't found the word that like I'm kind of like making sure I'm adding more than I'm taking away. I definitely want to be respectful. Yeah. Also, there are some traditions that I'll be like, hey, do we have to do this? You know, but movies are my first love, and everything I'm doing is trying to get the movies. Now they're really expensive to make.
Yeah.
Comic books not so much, you know, like relative, of course, it's all relative.
Yeah, sure.
So 5 minutes of film to look good. My producer told me that would cost $25,000. I would love to see a comic book that costs $25,000 to make. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me do this. I have an understanding of visual medium because I used to read a lot of comics. I used to read like some comics, but mostly manga. So American comics, you know, I dabbled. You know, I read Watchmen, Scott Pilgrim, Born Again, the big stuff. So yeah, I had an understanding of the medium, and I said and I liked the freedom that came with comic books. Like it's kind of like the Wild Wild West, and even dealing with people that would read my screenplay and say, "Oh, these are the notes a producer would have." If you try to sell it to a studio. And I said, I guess I'm not selling it to a studio because your notes suck. So I like the freedom that came with comic books, really. So and that was two years ago. So I haven't been making comic books for long.
Yeah.
So then, Anthony, what led up to this project then?
Yeah. As far as I just wanted something that was real personal. We all deal with. They all told me to start simple. So I was like, okay, what's more simple than like grief and loss? You know, is universal. So that's what brought me here. It's a pretty low concept story. I mean, issue 2 I love because we kind of break into some new things, but I feel like it's still very grounded. You know, and it's still very human.
Yeah,
very relatable.
Yeah, that's one great thing about it is like you can connect to these characters, even though there's like the fantastical elements and stuff in there. You can still connect to them as like actual people. You know, you can still see them as actual people. So awesome job there.
Exactly.
Yeah, very cool, man. I mean, one of the things I wanted to ask you about I thought was kind of unique that I haven't seen done before. You know, as far as marketing goes for comic books, is that I was watching the video, you were talking about the merchandise and then the music that you added into it. Can you just tell us a little bit about why you decided to add that in and what that element that brings to your piece?
Absolutely. So one, I think music is like the perfect accoutrement to any medium. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just great.
Sure.
I listen to a lot of music. I think a lot of people listen to music, but I think when you're a creator, it just kind of goes together. So it's a 2-part answer. It's really a 3-part answer. So I think music makes anything better. I had a lot of artist friends who I think are really talented, and part of the reason I'm doing this is because I want to make a platform for people that are talented, to get involved. I want to get my friends involved. So it's like, hey, this is a team win essentially. And three, a mixtape is really light and flat, so it's a pretty easy thing to ship, and CDs cost like $10 for 500. You know what I'm saying? So it's like an economic reason as well.
It's really cool to like go like think about like readings. I didn't get a chance to. I mean, I did get my copy issue
Hey,
one.
it was good.
But I didn't. The thing I haven't done yet, which I want to do, and I'm going to do, is I want to put on the soundtrack while reading it. Is that kind of the thought process behind it? That as people are reading the series to kind of listen to music at the same time.
It was kind of like I gave it to my friend. And I said, look, a lot of what I do when I get a variant covers, I'm like, look, whatever inspires you. So it's not like it's a soundtrack; it's more of a mixtape, I say.
Okay.
So a lot of the songs I think will do that. A lot of them just sound good. A lot of them was just like, hey, this is how you felt. Let's do it. It's almost like a time capsule of where we were at when this happened. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice. And then,
Nice.
Anthony, you were talking a little bit about, you said that you wanted to get your friends involved and things like that. So your team for this project, like, did you know everybody, like at the very beginning of the project, kind of talking about it, kind of shooting around ideas, or did you bring other people on board? What did that look like?
So it's mainly it's my brainchild, and definitely want to give. I had two letterers. Oh my goodness! I had Joni Hogg, I believe, and he did the issue one, and then I had Stephen Koch, who is huge, at least in my circle in the community. He does lettering. He's kind of like my mentor. He does the graphic designs for a lot of stuff. So I had known of him. And then my artist Marcelo, we done like a project before, and I was like, I like this guy. He works pretty fast, But it's not like a true collaboration. Like I can't call it that. They will add their personal touches, and it's not about a greed thing. It's just about genuinely. I don't send him a script and say, hey, what do you think about this? After we're done, what do you think about it? As far as now that we completed it, but I wrote these 5 issues I wrote all the 5 issues. I wrote it in the echo chamber, So
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's all great stuff. Anthony, the question I had when I was reading it was, I thought it was really powerful. The first issue, I mean, you got started right off the bat. I mean, it launched, you propelled the plot forward. It was really moving. And then you did something great, right? You kind of scaled back and you kind of told a little bit more story, right? You got everybody hooked. So, and that's a talent to do that, right? And obviously you're a writer. Did you write something previous to this that you were really proud of, or maybe that led to this, or was this, I know you said you've been writing for years, but I guess what I'm saying is, was there something you wrote similar to this? Is this what you envisioned it, or did this take you a while to get to this project?
I'm proud of everything I write. Like after like the last 5-6 years, I have 3 scripts that I believe, with some minor tweakings, could be filmed tomorrow, essentially.
Yeah.
So that answers that.
Yeah.
I'm not showing no confidence. Was there?
You know what? You got to be that way.
Yeah.
We talk to a lot of artists, and they're their hardest critic, but the writers, it's great because, like you said, you can go like this and what you want to see. So.
Absolutely. So it's not like there was like a prequel to Decay or a spiritual prequel or anything.
Sure.
It's just I had a story with the premise and I wanted to tell it.
Yeah.
Is there a through line is definitely dread and trauma. That's pretty much in every single thing I write. It'll probably be in everything I write, So that was it. But I think this was different enough, but I think you could definitely look at that. Like my friends could look at that, like, oh, that part, that's you right there,
Yeah.
So, mind if I jump in here, guys? I have a quick question about you had said that this was, I think you mentioned this was kind of a personal piece. Just tell me a little bit about that and how, do you end up bringing personal content into most of the things that you write, and how did it flow into this particular project?
Absolutely. So I think you have a premise. I think you have some beats, and I think when you at least I inject myself in it, like that adds the soul. You know what I'm saying? Like my love for my family members and my love for the family members that have passed. That's what took the story to the next level. You know, is like it's like a mech suit. You know what I'm saying? Like this is terrible. I don't know if you guys watch Neon Genesis, but that's the and then me hopping in that motherfucker was like that's when it kind of took off. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's the only way that's the only way I could put it. So and if you inject yourself, you'll know how the character is feeling. You know what I'm saying? If it's completely foreign to you, like I don't know how you would write a story and not relate to the characters in some way, or even despise them. You know, even that. But you do have to have some personal feelings. I feel like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's obvious that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's one of the things, Anthony, that flows through most of the interviews we've done already is that the creator had a passion, right? Whether it was like you said, whether it was whether it was a love or a hate or just there was a conviction there, and that's what obviously came through in the story. So I was really happy with the way your passion came through on the pages. It was obvious.
Yeah, I mean, it's like so I've been writing for 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And everything just fell through. Everything kept falling through. And then, so you're talking about 13 years in until I even get something made. Like I even publish something. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm foaming at the mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ready to go.
I'm watching all these projects come out that I like, movies and TV. Where I'm like, I don't think that's that good. I don't think this is inspired. Yeah. And then so I'm like, all right, every page. I'm considering every page. I'm considering every line of dialogue. I also know, having failed a lot, that people don't owe you anything. Even the people that owe you something. Don't owe you anything. I'll be honest. I have a Kickstarter campaign. Not one member of my family has donated yet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh man.
I mean, and I'm sure they'll get around to it. But that definitely helps with the chip on my shoulder. Helps it keep growing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I gotta hook people because they'll support for a little bit out of care for you, maybe. But after that, you have to find a genuine fan base, and I feel like I've done that, and I think part of my strategy was to just release my comic books for free. I would post regularly. I would say, hey, who wants to read my comic? I would post that once a week, and I would get 10, 15 responses. I would send it to them, and then 5 people respond back. So every week for about 4 months, I'm getting 5, 6, 7 people who are reading Decay. And even if they don't buy when the Kickstarter drops, they'll at least retweet. They'll have a personal attachment, and maybe they'll buy later. Yeah. So I was like, my goal. I understand that, like, and I do come. I have a decent job, so I don't have to. Thankfully, I don't have to consider like my livelihood when making these. Yeah. But you can really cut yourself short, trying to just get a profit back, try to get your money back immediately. Because if you make a good product and distribute it right, you will. Like my thing was like, I could put this behind a paywall for $1 short, but how many people am I losing with that?
Yeah.
And I even put it on the Google Drive to make it even easier. Like, I don't even have to email it to you. I can just send it to you. I can send you a link, Send it to your friends. Send them the link, So I made it as easy possible for people to consume my product.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's really important to hear that too. I mean, just from the reason why we created this channel is because we want to support independent artists like yourself, and I think it's important for other artists that might watch this to hear your journey and your thought process behind why you're getting it out there and how you're getting it out there. So that's really cool to hear that. You sometimes you got to give it away to get people interested, to get them continue to buy the next thing.
And I think it creates a great consumer relationship when you do that. If you're just transparent, like, hey, you like this, and if they don't say, hey, where can I get a copy, just say, hey, can you just retweet and and like, at the very least, you're getting more exposure, And I understand some artists don't want to sell themselves short, which I totally understand. But for me, respectfully, I'm trying to get to that next level as fast as possible. I'm not trying to be ground level for the next 2, 3, 4 years.
Sure.
And I made so much progress. Like if I had been like, I need to sell my comic book for $2.99, I wouldn't have a quarter of the fans I have now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And having a good product
say,
helps
Anthony,
as well.
I think you're absolutely right. You touched on it, right? That confidence where you have that connection, you're drawing in the fan base, and that confidence that says, hey, I'm going to put this out there. I'm not going to charge you, just like you said, and start hooking the people. Because I tell you what, I picked up issue 1 and it was great, man. I didn't put it down. I read every panel, enjoyed every minute. And I was so happy I had issue 2 ready to go, because I was like, man, I don't want to wait. I want to go right to the next one. So I get it, man. And you, like you said, you kept it simple, but you added that information in. And even in the second issue where you're dropping a little bit more information on us and hooking us in, and you did an excellent job. Sorry, I didn't have a question. There was just an awesome comment. That's awesome, man.
I'll take all the compliment I can get, man. Yeah, if y'all just want to eat praise on me for the next 25 minutes, I'll take that.
We got time.
Well, I'll tell you that would be easy to do based on this book. It's really great stuff.
Seriously, it's so solid. Like, and we love the indie comics industry and everything. Where we always try to want to make sure we encourage anybody to keep trying to create and all that. But it is refreshing also to when you get these super solid books like yours. So it is kind of refreshing to read that and go like, all right, there's. I can't wait to see where Anthony Stokes, now we can say we got to do one of your early interviews before it's movie producer, director, writer.
Oh my God. Fingers crossed.
Right.
Yeah. Don't forget us little guys when you make it big.
Honestly, I truthfully, I don't know how many of these podcasts contribute to backers. I truthfully don't know, but I just want to have great conversations. That's really it, and then hopefully a backer or two would be a bonus.
Yeah. You know what's great, Anthony, about what you're doing though, honestly, is you control this property, right? Obviously, there's guys, like myself when I was drawing as a young kid and coming up, thinking I'm going to move to New York and I'm going to work for Marvel, right? Yeah, that worked out for me. But the point is that no matter what those guys do, no matter how much success they have as creators, those properties belong to those machines, right? And you have a freedom, and you can do what you want. I mean, you're kind of like what Kirkman did when he started Walking Dead. There was nothing to lose. Who was the next big name character going to be to get killed? They killed off who? I love that character. Well, that's what happens in this world. People get their face eaten off, and then they get shot in the face. So it's kind of a bad deal. You have the same creative freedom, and there's something to be said for that. So I really, give you all the credit in the world for just swinging for the fence on the first issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And the creative freedom is mandatory, and I can't imagine. I mean, I think the only thing is that I watch a lot of sports. So they say a player is really coachable. They want to be coached. Yeah. And I don't have a lot of people, unfortunately, to give me hopefully I might have it now. But when I was writing scripts, and I had a producer who was working with me, giving me good real notes. Yeah. And I lost that person. We just lost contact and fell through. And I was like, damn, man. I feel like I could be getting even better, really. Yeah. So I'm looking for the next. Hopefully, I get a group of people that will give me some good notes, some good peer mentoring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a mentor or a coach, for something at some point, and then you kind of outgrow them, and maybe that's where you're at. So the next one maybe is on deck. You just haven't met them yet.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now, I was just going to say, I feel like that the idea of having a support group and people that you can be there to I'll always have your back and can continue to push you. It's very important in anything artistic. So yeah, it's
invaluable. Yeah. And I do have, so I wasn't on Twitter 4 months ago, 5 months. I was on Twitter, but I wasn't on Indie Comic Twitter. Yeah. And I saw these projects, and I know they say, don't compare yourself with other creators. I've never said that. I seen them making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and I'm like, I noticed they were all heavy on Twitter. Yeah. So I'm like, shit, this is where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Get on
And
there.
I just started. If you had indie comics in your bio, you were a podcast. I just follow, and now I
Mm-hmm.
genuinely have like 10, 15, 20 friends that I genuinely consider good friends in the industry. We all help each other out, which is the best part, genuinely.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, there is definitely
Cool.
a kind of an undercurrent of that, and what we've heard from some of the other creators we talked to, it was kind of the double-edged sword of the pandemic, right? Folks were kind of driven inside. Some folks lost their jobs or were working alternate, schedules, things like that. And this creative, component of their personality that they always had, but you weren't really able to nurture it because, you're working for the man. So, but finally they're home and it's like, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I'm just going to start doing this thing. And, with social media and things like that, they've been able to sort of amplify their work and their creation out there. So, like Shane said earlier, that's our goal really with this show is we've all read the big two, right? For years and years, right? Marvel, DC. But, after you do that for several decades, finally, indie comics are able to get a foothold in a way that I don't think 30 years ago they could have. So I think I guess my question, if I have one here, is did that help you at all? Like the last couple of years, was it just kind of like you were able to be more creative, or did you just always have it and it just manifested in the comic at some point?
So I think one thing is that I think the floor for everything has raised as far as independence.
Yeah, definitely.
You see that in music. You see that with SoundCloud.
Yeah.
You see that with YouTube. You see that with Twitch. It's like all you need is that was true that all you needed was a camera.
Yeah.
But that was specifically for YouTube. Now it's like Twitch, YouTube, all these other different platforms.
Yeah.
So across the board, the floor is rising. And people are recognizing that.
Yeah.
And as the double-edged sword, I don't think I'd be where I am without the pandemic. As fortunate as it is, I'm trying to make lemonade out of lemons.
Sure.
Because I was stuck. I was stuck in the house. I was like, I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Why not? And then that was the foundation to which I can say, okay, I can afford to make a comic book and give it away. So I think pivoting is super important. Like, I think the best thing I would say about myself is that I'm very flexible and I can pivot, cause you're going to hit holes. I can also compartmentalize. Like there's things right now that I need to do, but I understand I don't want to overwhelm myself.
Yeah.
I need to get my comic book in stores. I don't have Decay in a single store, but I know I can't do that and campaign. Right. So I gotta wait until after the campaign. I want to submit to some independent publishers, but I can't do that and campaign. So it's about like, I don't want to say baby steps, but it's about like making a plan and then being able to pivot from that plan if something were to present itself.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
a good point.
One of the things. Oh, go ahead, Ben.
So I was going to jump in and say that's a good point because I feel like some people get themselves burned out or like get to like they're like all I'm going to do is do the campaign and then it doesn't work out and like well screw it now I don't want to do it anymore or they say I'm going to submit to Boom or to Image or something and then they don't get it and like I'm done. So I think that's a really good idea. And it's like you always read like if you want to be successful, a lot of the most successful people they have like an actual plan. Like you said, like written out. Here's step one. I'm gonna do this. Step two, and not fret about the next step until you completed the first one. So,
do what you can. If you can't do it, don't worry about that.
Right.
And that's like what athletes do. I think Michael Jordan said that. He's like, why would I worry about something that I can't control? So I'm not about to sit here because this is a marathon. Essentially.
Yeah.
And then once you once you do something like the first time, like once I establish a good connection with a comic book store. That's it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I would imagine anyway. That's it. That's the only thing. I'm not submitting to two independent publishers. I'm submitting to like 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I made an outline.
Yep.
I actually love this idea. So your publisher typically is going to need like some sequential pages, a synopsis, and like a log line. So I made like outlines of what every publisher needs. Like, this publisher wants a log line and then a synopsis and then this, that. And I did that. So I can kind of just like do everything all at once and just submit it and just copy and paste and do that just to make it as efficient as possible.
Sure.
Just take one day, hopefully even an afternoon, and just get that taken care of. So it's about finding the most efficient way to do things.
Yeah. When you're on comics
That's
Twitter,
awesome.
do you find that some people are still doing it like inefficiently, like trying to do like just get out, this and that?
Absolutely. I mean, so I'll give you an example. I mean, you can be too smart for people. So when you guys will see me when I tweet out, I'll say, who wants to this works foolproof.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from backing my campaign?
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
And it works every single time.
Good.
And the reason I don't tweet out the link is because Twitter will throttle down, and I mean any social media platform will throttle down the impressions on something with a link. So you tweet it out and then it'll get way more I've done it. It's almost like a 2-to-1.
Damn.
And I had the tweet pinned and in my bio. So I'm like, all right, it takes one click on my profile and somebody without fail, somebody will be like, well, first you could send the link. And I'm just like, all right, yeah, you're not. Okay. I got you. Yeah. You're not hip. It's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Things like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, like it's called finessing. Like I like that more. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Like, when I figure out a clever way to get some money, I don't even care about the money. Like, I'll damn near give the money away. I'll get in a group chat like, who wants lunch? All I want is like the satisfaction of figuring something out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
That's great stuff. Anthony, do you have any any small comic conventions or anything that you attend or anything like that? Have you done anything like that yet?
I've done 5 cons, I believe.
Did you?
Yeah, it's interesting. So my first con, which is Hampton ComicCon in 2021 of October.
Okay.
And that's in Hampton, Virginia. So this is like, I don't want to say when COVID is over, but this is like when they were telling us COVID. This is quote unquote, right? You don't have to get into it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So this was packed.
Yeah.
But I go into it and I'm like, all I have, I wanted to get my variant covers out. I wanted to get all this, but all I had, and I never forget, I ordered the variant covers and they came the day of the con, but I was already at the con.
Yeah.
So I have one poster and one copy of the comic, like one print of the comic book, basically.
Damn.
So one cover.
Yeah.
And then I won't even know that you're not supposed to do, like, I get one of the big tables. I don't even get the artist alley table. So I have this 8-foot table.
Oh shit.
I don't even have a cloth for the table.
Oh my god.
I don't even know. I think I have the stands. I think I had, and I was like, all right. So I kind of spread it out to like get rid of the white space. I'm looking like, and I was like, you know what? I went in there that day and I was like, I'm about to get my teeth kicked in, but I'm gonna learn,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I learned that well, it's Hampton, so it's a predominantly African American. Like this, I was at a con this weekend, and I was like, so whenever somebody walks by, I'm like, hey, do you like comic books? Or if they look like, or if they have like a horror T-shirt, oh, you like horror? And so like there's this like middle-aged black lady that walked past, and I was like, "Hey, you like comics?" She was like, "Not really." And I was like, "Oh, do you like Black Business?" She's like, "Yeah, I'll come over there." So I did pretty good at Hampton ComicCon. I got my pitch down, and I started adding stuff. I got a tablecloth for my next thing. I got more covers.
Nice.
And then the next con, I had issue 2. I had issue 2 for my 4th con. And that was Wilmington Geek Expo. And that was a little slower. Like, it wasn't as busy as the other cons. But I was like, okay, if you buy one, it's easy to be like, let's just buy a second one. And I made it, I priced it at $7. And I said, it's 2 for $13.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you buy one, you might as well buy the other one. Like, why not?
Right.
And then this last weekend, I feel like everything came together. And I actually had an amazing weekend. I actually sold out of one cover.
Awesome.
Awesome.
That's great.
That's great. That's
Nice.
great.
Good for you,
Yeah,
man.
thank you so
Congratulations.
much. It's
Man,
all
I,
amazing.
I love that
Yeah.
alternate cover. That I like those old like horror comics.
Oh
When I
yeah,
saw that, I
that's
was
good.
like,
Yeah.
and it looks kind of wrinkled and everything. The hand coming up.
Ah,
Yeah.
I loved it. I was like, man, that's
Avai-
classic.
I
that
It's
was
love that
awesome.
available
too.
on Kickstarter right now.
There
Yeah,
you
that's
go.
Everybody
awesome.
wants to come get it.
Nice. There you go. There you go. I real quick, I want to jump in. I mean, I think that speaks volumes, you know, to you and your skill set, you know, that did that little tiny story that you told about being able to change on a dime when somebody was like, nah, I'm not really into this. And then to be able to switch it up
Yep.
instantly like that, to be able to get them to take interest in you. So that kudos to you,
That's
man.
that's the
awesome.
trump card right there. It's like,
Yep.
hey, you like black business? Like that. That's like you got to stop at that point.
Yeah.
Like, you got to stop at that point. But also, my thing is if I'm engaging with one person, I see somebody kind of looking,
Yep.
like I'll pick up the comic and kind of like,
Yeah.
hey, you want to read it? Like,
Yep.
I figured like a lot of stuff out
Yeah.
just with experience, and now I'm signing up for. I signed up for Baltimore ComicCon, which
Oh,
is about
okay.
to be 3 days.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I got accepted to that one, and I signed up for
Awesome.
GalaxyCon in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Oh wow.
That's a 4-day one.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh damn.
So yeah,
Nice.
I'm hoping to move some
Heck
merchandise
yeah.
after
Man.
this campaign. I'm about to order a lot of comics.
Yeah.
Best of
Yeah,
best
that's
of
good
luck,
for you,
man.
man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know
best
what's
of luck,
funny
man.
is we asked the other creators the same thing, and the reason I asked that is because like I'm in the Chicago area, and they always have the enormous cons, and while I like it, it gets irritating. Sometimes the smaller ones are even better because I do get to talk to the creators. The last several I've gone to over the years, I've stopped at these tables where creators like yourself are just sitting there with their stacks, and I walk up and I go, what do you got here? Is this all?
Yeah.
Oh, it's all me, man. It's all me. And I flip through and I'm just like, whatever, you know, I'll throw them, I'll throw them the bucks for it because I know, first of all, I know this is absolutely nothing I've ever seen before or ever read before. And it's completely creator owned, and they've worked their ass off to get it there. So I give you all the credit in the world. That's great. That's why I asked the question, because I thought, you know, I know that's not easy for creators. You're taking time out of your day. The return is not going to be like you were one of the big dogs there. And like you said, there's a little bit of salesmanship that you got to develop. Not everybody can do that. You sound like you're on a roll, which is great, man. It's awesome. I mean, just
The worst thing they can say is no. I mean, the
That's
very
right.
worst thing is just like,
Yep.
or
They-
they like take a card to be
Right.
polite. Which
right.
Is
Let them keep. You know what? Let them keep walking. If they were going to keep walking, they were going to keep walking. Right?
Exactly.
There's somebody else who will stop. So it's been great to talk to you, Anthony. You're fantastic. Your book is fantastic. We wish you all
Yeah.
the luck.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
If you don't, if you don't
Absolutely,
keep with
man.
this
Yeah.
writing thing, I think marketing is like another thing.
You're
you
right.
can do.
Why not both?
It's like
I
Pivot.
really
Yeah.
Pivot
Yeah.
again.
that is a passion of mine now. Is really getting into like how these media, like, because again, I want to make a platform for everybody. So it does behoove me to understand how every platform works. So no, I mean, ideally, I would hope that maybe marketing could be my day job. Like I could be a publicist and then a writer as well on the side.
Yeah.
Like that'd be amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
what you're
Oh,
bringing to
dude,
the
all the stuff you're saying.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
Ben, no, sorry about that. I was just going to say, Anthony, I think that, a lot of times when you hear different mindsets and different, personal stories and what got you to this point, that's important. But I think I think what you focused on, Anthony, and talking about, that marketing, that hooking, that coming away from each of these little experiences stronger, as a person, as a writer, as a marketer, and trying to figure things out and get to that other side. Like you said, that mindset, man, that's going to take you places that other people, when you don't have that, you just kind of fall flat. But I think what you bring to the table and having that kind of a mindset and the strength of what you've put out there already, you're going to be going places, my man. It is good stuff.
Yep.
So you've done an excellent job. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, man, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. I was good, super cool to get to know you a little bit, and just to get a chance to read your work is fantastic. So I appreciate you coming.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Sorry, I was going to make sure everybody knows to check the links inside of the show description, the show notes. We'll have links off to Anthony's website and campaign and everything, so you can make sure to get Decay.
Well, we absolutely love bringing unique stuff like this to you guys. Please hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so we can keep doing that, and we'll see you on the next one.